Hi EACL, this video is recorded for introducing our research paper, The Impacts of Unanswerable Questions on the Robustness of Machine Reading Comprehension Models. In this work, we study machine reading comprehension models. We want to know if additional training on unanswerable questions of SWOT2 can enhance the robustness of models against adversarial attacks. In specific, we dive into the behavior of how machine reading comprehension models learn from unanswerable questions and seek to understand why they may be vulnerable to certain types of attacks. This research was a collaborative effort between Denison University in the United States and the NLP group at the University of Information Technology in Vietnam. Firstly, let me go through our motivation for this research project. In this project, we would explore the robustness of models against adversarial attack. So we employ an automated method to produce attack samples, which would then be used to evaluate the robustness of machine reading comprehension models. The process includes the following steps, starting with the question, what is the name of the water body that is found to the east? And the answer is Colorado River. We would then mutate the question by converting the east into the west and generate a fake answer that is similar to Colorado River, which is seen in this slide. Then, given the fake answer and the mutated question, we can construct an attack sentence. This sentence will then be appended to the context. This adversarial attack is grammatical, fluent, and closely relevant to the given question. Later in this video, we will see that this attack is very effective in revealing weaknesses of machine reading comprehension models. On the other hand, the dataset SWOT2 introduce questions that are closely relevant to the given context but unanswerable. The research community referred to this kind of questions as adversarial unanswerable questions. Looking into this table, we can see that these unanswerable questions are very similar to the mutated questions that we have discussed in the previous slides. This observation drives us to a question that whether training with adversarial unanswerable questions in SWOT2 can help improve the robustness of models against adversarial attacks. So with that motivation, in this project we have two main contributions. The first one is that we introduce a new technique to leverage the knowledge from SWOT2 to improve the robustness against adversarial attacks. We call this technique the force to answer. The second contribution is that we introduce a new attack to further understand the impact of adversarial unanswerable questions to the robustness of model. We call this attack the negation attack. Then let's talk about our initial experiments. On the left-hand side of this line, we present the performance of 6 models on both the original and attacked development set of SWOT1. The models are categorized as V1 and V2, the former indicating that the models trained on SWOT1 and the other on SWOT2. From this table, we can see that simply training models with SWOT2 does not improve the robustness of question answering models. In fact, performance of V2 models tends to decrease significantly more than that of V1 models on attack samples. The question we have here is why. Then, in order to understand more about the dynamics of V2 models, we classify the answers before and after attacks of each model into different categories. You can see those categories on the screens. The first category is I, which means initially incorrect. That means that model failed to answer the question correctly even without any attack. The second one is C2I, which means initially correct, but then incorrect when being attacked. C2U means that initially correct, but then predicted as unanswerable by V2 model. C2C means that the answers are both correct before and after the attack. And the most notable category that we see from this table is the C2U. We can see that there is a large proportion of answers by V2 models fall into this category. Falling into this category is better than into C2I because that means that the model can identify that the fake answers are not the correct answers for the given questions. And as V2 model can identify the incorrectness of fake answers, we hypothesize that V2 models with additional training on unanswerable questions have the ability to perceive the attacks, but fail to completely overcome them. This observation gives us the motivation to force V2 models to answer for every answerable question. How does this technique work? Kind of straightforward. For example, if the first answer by V2 model is that there is no answer for this question, which means that this question is unanswerable, we would then skip that answer and use the second one as the final answer. Will this technique improve the robustness of V2 models? The answer is yes, significantly. You can see that from the table in this slide. The robustness of V2 models is improved significantly with the force to answer technique. Besides, we also test our force to answer technique with adversarial attack on the development sets of other extracted question answering datasets and have similar results such that V2 models with force to answer are significantly more robust than their V1 counterparts. So this is our first contribution. But we have a big question here. Why does adding a new sentence into the context sometimes lead the model to believe that this context no longer contains the necessary information to answer the question, which they previously answered correctly? This is an undesirable behavior, and we need to dive deeper to understand it. We then introduce negation attack, which is also our second contribution. The attack is designed to elicit an unanswerable response instead of an incorrect response, as the previous attack does. You can see an example of negation attack here. We simply negate the adjective independent into not independent. The whole point is that we need our attack sentence to be very simple for V2 models to successfully detect that this sentence contradicts the given question. How does V2 models perform on the negation attack? The answer is super bad. The performance drop is almost 60 points on the F1 metric. The most significant drop in performance under negation attacks is the C2U category, which is around 40%. From this, we conclude that V2 models rely on target sentences with significant lexical overlap with the questions to decide whether the questions are unanswerable or not. If this sentence contradicts the given question, the model would then predict this question as unanswerable instead of looking to other sentences in the context to find for the answer. This is absolutely an undesirable behavior of models 5.2 non-squat 2. And last but not least, we would like to thank Denison University Research Foundation for supporting this research project during the summer of 2022. It is also the end of this video. Besides, my name is Tran. I am a junior undergraduate student at Denison University. I am seeking a PhD position in an NLP lab for my graduate work and would welcome contacts from faculty who might be interested in having me as a grad student. Thank you for listening, and we hope that you find this video and our project interesting.